James Dean, a name that screams rebellion and raw talent. But beneath the surface of this Hollywood icon lies a series of secrets that would leave even his biggest fans stunned. What was he hiding behind that brooding smile? James Dean captured the hearts of millions with his unforgettable performances and his untimely, tragic death. But there's so much more to this legend than meets the eye. In this video, we're diving deep into the hidden chapters of his life, secrets that reveal a complex, vulnerable side of the actor the world thought it knew. From mysterious relationships to controversies that shocked Hollywood, you won't believe what's been kept under wraps all these years. James Dean's early struggles shaped who he was. James Dean may be remembered as a Hollywood legend, but his childhood was far from glamorous. Born on February 8, 1931, in a small Indiana town, his life took a dramatic turn when his family moved to Santa Monica, California. Things seemed normal at first. His father worked as a dental technician, and they settled into life on the West Coast. But everything changed when James was only 9 years old. His mother, who he was very close to, passed away from cancer. Losing his mother was a devastating blow, and it completely changed the course of his life. His father, unable to care for him, sent him back to Indiana to live with his aunt and uncle on their farm. Life on the farm was simple and structured, but it was worlds away from the life he had known. To make matters worse, James and his father became distant. They rarely spoke or saw each other after the move, apart from a brief time when James stayed with him while attending Santa Monica City College years later. These early struggles, losing his mother, being separated from his father, and adjusting to a new way of life, left a deep mark on James. It's easy to see how the emotions from these experiences shaped the raw intensity he brought to his performances. His pain became his power, helping him create characters that felt real and deeply relatable. But this was just the beginning of the story. Wait until you hear what came next. James Dean's smile hides a funny secret. James Dean's unforgettable smile had a little secret. His front teeth were fake. When he was a young boy, Dean was always full of energy and couldn't sit still. One day, while playing on a trapeze in his aunt and uncle's barn, he had a nasty fall and knocked out his two front teeth. His family got him a set of false teeth, and he wore them for the rest of his life. But Dean didn't let this bother him. In fact, he turned it into a bit of a joke. Over the years, he liked to tell people a more dramatic version of the story, claiming he lost his teeth in a motorcycle accident. He even had a mischievous habit of taking out his false teeth during conversations, just to see the surprised looks on people's faces. It was classic James Dean, turning a mishap into something memorable and uniquely his. The small-town athlete who made history. Before he became a Hollywood legend, James Dean was making a name for himself in sports at his high school in Indiana. Even though he was nearsighted, short, and skinny, Dean didn't let that hold him back. He played baseball and basketball and ran track, impressing everyone with his determination and competitive spirit. His basketball coach once said Dean was a clean-cut, all-American type boy, which might surprise fans who know him for his rebellious image. One of Dean's biggest achievements was in pole vaulting. He worked hard and eventually broke the county record, a huge accomplishment for a high school athlete. By the time he graduated in 1949, he had already proven that his drive and focus could help him stand out. Who would have thought the brooding star of Rebel Without a Cause was once a small-town sports hero? It's just another layer to his fascinating story. But there's even more to uncover, so let's keep going. James Dean's big break came in a soda commercial. Before James Dean became a Hollywood icon, his first professional gig was far more modest, a Pepsi-Cola commercial. While still a college student, Dean was acting in high school plays and working hard to hone his craft. His journey took a major step forward when he transferred to UCLA in the fall of 1950 and landed a role in a production of Macbeth. His big break came thanks to a fraternity brother with industry connections who got him a spot as an extra in a Pepsi ad. Dean must have made quite an impression because the very next day, he was filming another Pepsi spot, dancing around a jukebox and singing a jingle. His natural charisma shone through even in this small role. But that wasn't all. The producer of the commercial later cast him as John the Apostle in a TV special, Hill No. 1, which aired on Easter 1951. Though his part was small, it caught the attention of fans. A group of students from a Los Angeles high school formed his very first fan club, calling themselves the Immaculate Heart James Dean Appreciation Society. Who knew a soda commercial could pave the way to superstardom? And yet, this was only the beginning of his incredible journey. James Dean's legendary career in just 3 movies. James Dean's career was tragically short, but it made an unforgettable impact. He dropped out of college to pursue acting full-time, and after landing small roles in Hollywood films, he moved to New York City in 1951 to expand his opportunities. There, he appeared in 2 Broadway plays and several TV shows. However, it wasn't until 1954 that he got his big break. Dean starred in a provocative role as a gay houseboy in the play The Immoralist, which caught the eye of director Elia Kazan. With the approval of famed author John Steinbeck, Kazan cast him in the film adaptation of Steinbeck's East of Eden. This was the turning point in his career. It was the role that pushed him into the spotlight. After East of Eden, Dean went on to film Rebel Without a Cause, the movie where he was finally given top billing, marking the peak of his acting career. His next film, Giant, paired him with legends like Elizabeth Taylor and Rock Hudson. It seemed like Dean was on the verge of becoming one of Hollywood's biggest stars, but his life was cut short before he could complete more projects. James Dean only starred in 3 films, but they were powerful enough to make him a symbol of rebellion, youth, and raw emotion in cinema. What might have happened if he had lived longer? It's one of the greatest what-ifs in Hollywood history, but the mystery of his untapped potential only adds to his legacy. James Dean's groundbreaking Oscar nominations. James Dean made history not only with his powerful performances, but also with a groundbreaking achievement at the Academy Awards. In 1956, he became the first male actor to receive an Academy Award nomination posthumously. Before this, only cinematographers, composers, writers, actresses, and costume designers had been recognized posthumously, but Dean broke that barrier with his stunning portrayal of the troubled teenager Cal Trask in East of Eden. His role as Cal, a young man struggling with deep emotional turmoil and a complicated relationship with his father, earned him a Best Actor nomination in 1956. The very next year, Dean received a second Best Actor nomination, this time for his role as Jet Rink, a ranch hand in Giant. Both performances were extraordinary, showcasing Dean's versatility as an actor, from the intense drama of East of Eden to the ambitious, complex character of Jet Rink. Despite the recognition, Dean didn't win either year. In 1956, he lost to Ernest Borgnine for Marty, and in 1957, Yul Brynner took home the Oscar for his performance in The King and I. Though Dean didn't win the coveted trophy, his back-to-back nominations set a precedent in Hollywood. Since then, other actors, such as Spencer Tracy and Heath Ledger, have been nominated posthumously for their incredible performances. However, James Dean remains the only actor to receive 2 posthumous nominations for Best Actor. His legacy continues to stand as a symbol of both extraordinary talent and the tragic loss of a career that was just beginning to reach its full potential. James Dean's passion for race cars. James Dean wasn't just passionate about acting. He had an intense love for speed. Even before he became a movie star, Dean was drawn to the thrill of race cars. When he earned his first big paycheck from East of Eden, He didn't hesitate to treat himself. Part of his earnings went toward purchasing a red convertible and a motorcycle. But that was just the beginning. By March 1955, Dean had taken his love for speed to the next level, entering road races. He competed in his first race in Palm Springs, California, where he drove a white Porsche Speedster and finished in second place. However, the studio wasn't thrilled about Dean's racing hobby. While working on Giant, his contract prohibited him from participating in any races. But once filming was wrapped up, Dean's obsession with racing took over. He traded in his Porsche Speedster for an even faster car, a Porsche 550 Spider, which he lovingly named Little Bastard. This new, powerful car became both his pride and joy, and tragically, a symbol of his love for the high-speed thrill. The speeding ticket that led to his death. On the afternoon of September 30th, 1955, just hours before his fatal accident, James Dean was ticketed for speeding. As he drove his new Porsche Spider to a road race in Salinas, California, a police officer pulled him over for going 65 miles per hour in a 55-mile-per-hour zone. Dean received the ticket without incident, but just 2 hours later, fate would strike. At the intersection of present-day Highway 46 and Highway 41, about 80 miles from Bakersfield, Dean's car collided with a Ford Tudor sedan. The impact was devastating. Dean suffered a broken neck and severe internal injuries. He was rushed to the hospital, but he was pronounced dead on arrival. To this day, it's unclear whether he was speeding at the time of the crash. A coroner's jury determined that the crash was an accident with no criminal intent, but many questions about that fateful day still linger. The curse of James Dean's car. After Dean's death, his iconic Porsche Spider seemed to take on a life of its own, one filled with mystery and misfortune. George Barris, the famous car customizer who had worked on Dean's Porsche, claimed that after the actor's death, he purchased the car. Soon after, strange and tragic events began to unfold. Barris said that when the car arrived at his shop, it rolled off a trailer and crushed an employee's legs. Over the years, more bizarre accidents followed. According to Barris, a thief who tried to steal the car's steering wheel slipped and broke his arm, and several people who bought parts from the Porsche later died in fatal crashes. The legend of the cursed car became even more chilling when Dean's mechanic, who had been riding with him at the time of the fatal crash, died in 1981 after multiple suicide attempts and a drunk driving accident. Though many Dean experts remain skeptical about the so-called curse, the eerie stories surrounding the Porsche have persisted. To this day, some believe the car's dark history is a reflection of the tragedy and mystery that surrounded James Dean himself. James Dean's brief romance with a Seinfeld actress. In the years following his death, countless people claim to have had romantic relationships with James Dean, but one particularly surprising connection came from Liz Sheridan, who later became famous for playing Jerry Seinfeld's mother on the hit TV show Seinfeld. In 2000, Sheridan published a memoir titled Dizzy and Jimmy: My Life with James Dean, a love story, in which she revealed that she and Dean had a brief but passionate romance. According to Sheridan, the two met in New York City in 1951. They quickly became inseparable and even moved in together. At one point, they were even engaged to be married. However, their relationship was short-lived, and they eventually parted ways. While Dean's personal life remained shrouded in mystery, this unexpected connection adds another layer to the complex legacy of the troubled yet charismatic actor. These stories and rumors about James Dean's life reveal just how much mystery and intrigue surrounded him, both during his lifetime and after his untimely death. Whether it was his obsession with race cars, the curse that seemed to follow his car, or his brief but passionate romance with a future TV star, the legend of James Dean lives on, leaving us to wonder what might have been. James Dean's life was filled with mystery, passion, and tragedy, each twist more surprising than the last. But one question still lingers. What could James Dean have achieved if he had lived longer? Could he have become one of Hollywood's greatest legends? Or was his early death part of the myth that surrounds him? If you want to dive deeper into the untold stories of old Hollywood's most captivating stars, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an unforgettable tale. Let us know in the comments. What do you think was the most shocking secret about James Dean?